And thus, in terms of, instead of them supporting you as who you really are, which if the relationship was actually real, then would have been a point of support, now it transforms into a point of attack, because they want you to be the same as they want you to be, as the sameness they still believe you to be within and as their memory. So basically attempting to, or trying to redefine you back into the memories that they have of you. And so they attempt to change you back to the memory they have of you, within attempting to break down the change you have become through holding their past memories of you within themselves, and then bringing up all the apparent mistakes you've made against them, apparently, as all the memories of past experiences that negate that one point of view that they've held onto within memory, that feed one of their personalities they have formed or created in relation to that one point or part of you. So in terms of, they'll, for example, start with, as I've said, outlining how they remember you as that part of you, and then to try and fight back or manipulate, they bring up all past mistakes, all past memories that they've also accumulated and held within themselves, and cross-reference you in relation to the memories they have of you, like saying, okay, do you remember this is how you were? I remember you like this. This is who you really are. But now look at all these things that you're doing and that you've done, and it's totally and completely the opposite to who you were. And this comparison that they do is the arsenal of memories of past mistakes that they then use to compare you to who you were and who you've become or who you are now. And then through that comparison of and as memories, they attempt to and try to manipulate back to who and how you were in relation to how they remember you and they want you to be, so that you can continue feeding their personality of who they are within and as the mind consciousness system. So what's fascinating within this is that they attempt to try to use memories against you, when in actual fact what manifests due to the inversion of process, as I mentioned before, is their own possession within and as the memories they attempt or try to use. And so they create an actual energetic entity of memories consisting of or existing as manipulation, thinking or believing that they're manipulating you, when in actual fact they're being manipulated by their own memories. So here to understand that it's not to take it personally when family or friends attempt this, especially within walking process. I mean, change is inevitable and is certain, because you're assisting and supporting you to in fact change. You're walking out of the mind consciousness system into the physical and establishing self for the first time in your life or your existence and your experience in this reality. You're finding out who you are. And within that, in terms of stopping participation in thoughts, stabilizing self here as breath, writing self out within, writing yourself to freedom, releasing, letting go, stopping, standing within and as self-forgiveness and self-corrective application. All the relationships you've had with your mind and thus with your reality, because all your relationships in your world and your reality is defined based on your relationship with the mind, because you've defined everything through and as your mind consciousness system. So as you emerge within your self-honesty here in the physical, within the principle of living here what's best for all, equal and one, your self-relationship changed, and thus the relationship with your total reality will start changing, because self is the core source or origin of what you experience internally and externally. And so here, it's just to understand, not to take it personally when family or friends attempt this. They become manipulative in an attempt to manipulate you to be who they remember you to be according to how they defined you within themselves, and stored you within an as memory. So the point of manipulation family members will attempt to try may be in some cases inevitable or certain, because their inherent nature is to, as a mind consciousness system, survive, and so will attempt or try to keep everything in their world and their reality the same in accordance to how they defined it through and as their mind consciousness system. So it's going to be an experience to stand through, but you have who you are here, you have your self-honesty, your breath, you have your writing, your self-forgiveness, your blogging to assist and support yourself to walk through this experience that one might face within one's world and one's reality, in terms of family and friends not understanding the self-change. So it's to understand that in terms of the you they refer to is not you at all. The you they have within them, as with everyone else in their world, is based on their own interpretation from within their own database of knowledge and information in relation to how they want you to be for purposes of their own personality designs. So it's simply not to participate or play the game in throwing the ball back, meaning understand if it's already gone so far where it's a point of manipulation, manipulative attack, like using memories as past mistakes or experiences that you've apparently done unto them, when they're showing you apparently how you've changed from that part of you that they've held on to within themselves. That indicate a total entity possession of an as memory. And to assist and support self to stand within and through that is to walk here, be here as breath, breathing. When you feel you fluctuate or you feel you're falling, you've got your writing as you're blogging to assist and support you to see the points where you're wavering and where you're falling, which should basically indicate which points you still define yourself as towards them, meaning what points haven't you yet stood as within yourself, within equality and oneness, as you here in and as stability, but are still accepting and allowing yourself to define parts of you towards others. So the points of manipulation they're using still getting to you, which means that you haven't yet specifically enough looked at that parts of you as personalities of the mind that you lived or existed as in relation to them. And so it becomes a point of assistance and support to see where you're still holding on to personality parts or points of and as the mind consciousness system that you define towards others in and as your world and your reality. Alright, so this a practical reality, physical mind interdimensional perspective in relation to the manifestation of using memories to manipulate in an attempt to keep one ensnared and enslaved into and as the mind consciousness system, and what this whole experience in fact really is, and thus to realize, see and understand that it's simply a fight for survival of personality of mind, and thus not real. What is real is living here as breath, in assisting and supporting oneself to walk out of the mind into the physical, so that we can start living a reality, being an expression that stand equal and one here as all, in fact, so that we as such living beings of actuality in reality can start changing this world into an experience where all is equal and one in fact. Thank you.